Hey guys, it's George. I'm going to go over the exciting new features of George's Budget for Excel version 15. And this is simple checkbook software with integrated monthly budgeting. It's also known as personal finance software. So currently I'm in the account summary. So let's take a look at some of the current features of the software. Let's take a look at this Chase credit card account. And here's where you enter your transactions for this particular credit card account. The register is really awesome. You can filter transactions. Up top here, there's tools to help you with reconciliation. You can see that there's one item outstanding for $100. That's this item right here. If I mark it as cleared, you can see here that now that there's 0 items outstanding and all items have been cleared. You can split transactions. Here's a purchase at Walmart for $100, and we split it between these two categories, groceries and clothing. You can assign categories here, and you can create your own custom categories. Where you do that is right over here, is where you add and delete your own categories, and you set a monthly budget for those. Once you set your monthly budget, you can go over here to the reports and charts, and you can compare actual amounts to the budgeted amounts that you set. And there's also these progress charts to help you keep within budget. There's yearly budget versus actual. There's also custom reports. Here you have an income versus expenses report. I've entered 2 years of data, so you can see multi-years here. You can also drill down into the data, let's say groceries category. If you want to see more detail, you can see where you spent that money for the groceries. You can also further filter down by dates, particular date periods, months, quarters, even days. Let's say I pick quarters here and just want to see first quarter 2021. Instantly you get those 3 months for the year 2021. Just clear that right here to show all data. You can even filter by account name. So right now there's all accounts in this report, but if you just want to see, let's say, the Discover credit card data, you can click right there and filter it by any account or groups of accounts. I'm going to go ahead and clear that and show all accounts. So up here, all 12 registers combined, if you click that button, this allows you to see the transactions from all the different registers in one master register. And that's really helpful if you want to, let's say, filter and see all of the transactions for a particular category like groceries. You get a subtotal of that filter. You can also see that the different accounts that the transactions are related to. You can further filter by description and by date. So that is the master register there. Let's go back to the account summary. In the account summary up top here, you have your list of accounts plus their balances. You can also set goals. So let's say on this savings account, we want to reach a goal of 50,000. And we can see that we're 48% of the way there, about halfway there. We have 24,000 in the account. So if we scroll down a little bit, we have a section here for top 5 expense categories to watch. You can set your own expense category there, and it's actual versus budget, and you also have charts. Below that, you have your monthly income statement, yearly income statement for current period and prior period. And you have the charts to reflect that data. And below that, you have basically what I consider like a trend chart. You can pick a particular category in a particular time period, and then you can see the data for that particular category over a period of time. So in this case, you can see that you're trending up for restaurants, and then you took, let's say, corrective action in the last month. Okay, so that's the account summary. So let's talk about the exciting new features. So on the account summary here, you had your list of accounts, and you had total assets, total liabilities, and net amount. So you kind of have your net worth of these accounts here, but it was only a snapshot. It was based on the information that you entered into the registers, and it gives you a snapshot at one point in time. But what about over time? So this net worth chart here, if you click that, you get a great chart of how your net worth has grown over time. So it starts with from the first transaction that you entered up until the last. You have to include all of your data. So this started back in January of 2020, and it's going through the end of the year 2021. So it's like a 2-year period. So you can see that we started off with about 71,000, and then we've grown our net worth up to the point of 166,000. It's great to see this. It's kind of motivating to see that information, the growth over a period of time. And it's also important to know so that you can make financial decisions based on the assets that you have. So below the chart is the actual amounts. So starting in January of 2020, you had 71,000, and then you can see the growth of that all the way up to December of 2021, up to 166,000. Over here, right now I have all accounts selected, but if you just want to look at a particular account, let's say you want to look at Discover credit card, you can see that we had a starting balance of about $600, and we ended up with a balance, current balance of about $4,600. So this credit card, that's valuable too, because instead of just seeing that we have $4,000 balance, in your account summary, you actually see that you're trending down for the credit card, which means that you're increasing your balance. You're owing more money over time. So that's why this net worth tracker is really important to see the change in value over a period of time. What about your home value? You can see here that your home about 2 years ago was 100,000, and now estimated, of course, it's just estimated values, is 148,500. Your mortgage, it was 50,000 about 2 years ago, and as you paid it down, it's about 41,000 now. You can actually combine two. So I can select these two, and in a sense, by selecting those two, this chart reflects the equity in your home. So the equity in your home is basically the value of the home less the mortgage balance. And that would be, at the end of this period, would be 106,000. So let's clear that and show all accounts again. When you use this net worth tracker, you have to make sure that over here for category type, that split is not selected. The rest of the categories type should be selected, but split should not be selected because it will duplicate amounts if you select split. So make sure that split category type is not selected. Now there's another layout in this chart. If you click here, you're going to get the pivot table fields. And simply by dragging this over here, you get a different view for the chart and the data below it. What this is all your accounts are separately charted. So up top there, the blue one, they're color coded, is the home value. In between here, we have some credit cards, savings, and checking. And down below, the last one is the home mortgage. And with this one too, you can select all of them or specific ones. So let's say we want to do the home mortgage and the home value. So you can see those separately on one chart. Or your IRA, retirement account. So it looks like about 2 years ago in 2020, we started off with 20,000, kind of decreased, then went back up, decreased, and went back up. So about the end of 2-year period, your balance or value in that retirement account is greater than it was about 2 years ago. Okay, so that's the really cool thing about being able to see your net worth over a period of time. So let's go ahead and show all accounts. And down below that, you could see each account separately, how the value changed over time. So you can see your home value was 100,000 and it grew all the way up to 148,000. You can see the two credit cards, both of those have increased in the amounts that you owe over time. And the mortgage balance has decreased in the amount you owe as you paid it down. So let's drag this back over there and we'll just have that one overall net worth tracker, and that's based on the amounts that are in the registers. Now the way you add these accounts here in the registers for home mortgage, home value, and IRA retirement, let's go back to the account summary. Let's take a look at your IRA retirement account. So what you do is you're going to enter your opening balance or beginning balance, and then each quarter or each month or each year, however often you want to do it, you enter the increase or decrease in value of that particular investment. So let's say that you get monthly statements and they said that your value increased by 500. So now your new balance in your investment is 20,500. Let's say the next month it decreased by 400. So now the new value is 20,100. So let's take a look at another one of those. Same thing for home value. Let's go to the top here. You enter, for example, the purchase price. And in my case, I just entered these quarterly. But for the home, you might do once a year, for example, the change in value. And it's just an estimate, of course. But let's say that at the end of this quarter, it went up by 1,500. So you would just put the increase here, and then the new balance would be 101,500. For the category, you just choose not categorize. And that's the last one here, the mortgage. Up top here, you put the original amount that you borrowed, and then however often you want to do that, in this case I did it monthly, you put the amount that the balance decreased by. So let's say that when I made a payment here, it decreased the balance by $250. So my new balance in the account is $49,750. So that's not your payment here. That's just the amount of your payment that was applied towards principal. And you also assign these to not categorize. So now in addition to having this little summary here, notice that the net amount is 166,275 for your net worth based on these accounts. So if you go to your net worth chart, let's see if it matches up to that. 166,275 right up here, 166,275. And you started off at 71,000, around 71,000. So let's go back to the account summary. One other thing I want to mention about the net worth is that you have to include all time periods. So for the other reports over here, we can narrow down the time periods. But for the net worth chart, these charts need to include all the time periods based on all the data that's in the registers. Okay, let's go back to the account summary. The other great new feature is that there's 2 additional registers for you. The prior version had 10 registers. This one has a total of 12. So that's going to be helpful if you want to add these extra type of accounts that you want to track as in your net worth charts. Now let's talk about some new features in the registers. If I go to this, back to this Chase credit card, and let's say that let me remove this as being cleared. So there's one outstanding item here. So before we had filter show outstanding, now we have a new button, filter show cleared. Okay, so filter show outstanding will filter all these transactions and just show the outstanding item. That's that one item there that it said for $100. I can clear that, and then I can show filter show all cleared items. So that will show all the transactions that you've marked as cleared, and it will give you a subtotal of them, 2,510, which matches up to the total cleared up here, 2,510. I'm going to go ahead and clear all those items. So that's another tool to help you with the reconciliation. Also, these buttons up here have been changed in terms of the color coding and layout. All the right items here are for reconciliation. These items right here are for going to another section of the program. And these items over here all the way to the left are for doing certain tasks within the register. So there's one other button here that I want to show you, and that's the Go To Today button. So let's take a look at that button in the Chase checking account. Now, another great feature of the software is you can enter future dated transactions. So the current date is actually June 2021, but I've entered transactions all the way to the end of the year. So some customers like to do that because they like to forecast what might happen. So let's say that they estimate how much they're going to bring in, they estimate their expenses, and they want to see if they got the cash flow to cover that. So if you happen to do that, enter future dated transactions, well, how do you get to the current date? Well, you have to scroll and try to find it. So that's where this comes in handy. Go to today. What it does is it sorts the transactions, and let's click it here. And it took us to, remember I said that we're in June. So what it does is it brings up transactions that are within the current date or closest to the current date. Okay, so instead of scrolling, you can go right to today. Now in the reports and charts, another nice feature is that you can go 3 years into the future. For people that like to future date their transactions, enter transactions that haven't occurred yet, now you can go 3 years into the future, because currently it's 2021, and that's true for the yearly report too. You can go 3 full years into the future. For the custom reports will include all of your data, no matter what year, future, past, it includes it. Now let's say that you entered future data transactions, but you do not want to show those. So you have that capability here. You can go to date filters and you can say year to date. Okay, that's one option. Or you could do date filter before, and we'll say before the following day. Okay, so that's everything from the first transaction up to the current date. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clear that. And one other nice feature that was added here is in this custom reports, this account name slicer. I've added that here. So instead of trying to pick and choose the account names here, because you can't even see them there, you'd have to really select. The slicer allows you to visually see what accounts this data applies to. Let's say that I just want to look at the checking account. That data there instantly updated to just apply to that particular account, the Chase checking. You can pick multi-accounts too. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that. So I'm going to go back to the account summary. So that's an overview of George's budget for Excel version 15 and all the great new features of the software.